Hey guys, Karen Dubs here, flexiblewarrior.com, and today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm used to filming obviously yoga videos. I've been doing that for probably about 13 years now, but I wanted to break off and do a little bit more sort of lifestyle videos on my channel. So today's the first one, and I'm in my garden, and I covered it in straw because you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add mushrooms, and the neighbor just started mowing, so hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm going to be adding mushrooms to my garden this year because I've been doing this garden for probably about 10 years. I love mushrooms. They're one of my favorite superfoods, and those of you who know me know I'm all about the superfoods. Groceries are really expensive right now, so I have heard that you can actually incorporate mushrooms within your garden. So I'm going to be doing 3 different kinds of mushrooms in my garden here. Then I've got my husband helping me with a log stack, and I'm going to do shiitake mushrooms there. So this is going to, I got a little friend in my garden. He's not supposed to be in here. Leo, you get out of here, buddy. He eats kale. Yeah, he eats the kale. My dogs love vegetables too. And then the third kind of garden mushroom that I'm going to do is actually between this line of trees. I don't know if you can see it at the back of our yard. There's some shady spots back there. So I'm going to put some wood chips down there. So that's 3 different kinds. In the garden on hay, on straw, not hay actually. I've read that you're supposed to use straw, not hay, because there's more likeliness that it will grow and less weeds and that sort of thing. And then wood chips, mushrooms like to grow in wood chips, so I'm going to try that back in that shady spot back there between the tree line. And then on logs, we're going to do shiitake. So follow along. I've got North Spore, and I will tag them in the video below and link it up in case you're interested to do this as well. North Spore is a wonderful resource of information too. So if you're really into mushrooms, check them out, northspore.com. Okay, let's try this. All right, so let me back up for a second and say again that I am by far not an expert in this area. I've never done this before. So I know that there's sort of 3 steps. First of all, you know, I laid the straw down. I have my garden all ready to go. I've got tomatoes, zucchini, kale, cucumbers, squash, lots of herbs planted as well. And the mushrooms are supposedly really good for the soil too, so it's going to help to keep the weeds down, number 1, hopefully. Replenish the soil because, you know, mushrooms have that ability to complement my vegetable garden, hopefully. And of course, in addition to that, I'm going to have food. And right now, food is very expensive. So I'm hoping to get lots of benefits from this and hopefully have some fun along the way as a creative new project, right? So again, not an expert. I would check out northspore.com. They have lots of resources on there too, and a YouTube channel of their own. So lay down the straw. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to inoculate the straw with the spawn, and then after that I'm going to be watering, because you know mushrooms like watering. So here we go. I'm going to break I have 2 bags actually, and I'm going to break these up and sprinkle them all over the straw. And you know, it's going to take months, if not a year or more, for me to reap the benefits from this. So it's not going to be all in this one video. You're going to have to follow with me in the future for this. But here we go. We're going to inoculate the straw. All right, so I've spread the spore throughout the whole garden. For those of you who are interested, this is what it looks like. It just looks like little granules. I decided to just do 1 bag here, and I'm going to save the other bags to do back by the tree line because that's a little bit more space. And I'm going to water it next, although they are calling for rain, which is helpful. And I should say too, I live in a neighborhood. I'm not on a farm. So, you know, I feel like this is something that you can do in little garden spaces. You don't need a ton of space, and it's a fun little creative sort of project, which will also hopefully feed the family. Oh my gosh, the little guy's back in the garden, that little stinker. So for those of you who are new for our channel, I have 4 rescue dogs. This little guy's a little pea pistol. Hey Leo, you want to come say hi to everybody? Come here, come here. You probably think you're in trouble, right? And here's Luna. Here's Luna. They're always close by when I'm gardening. They love the garden because literally they eat kale. I plant the kale mostly for them. Okay, so done with this garden. I'm gonna move on to the back line of trees next. Don't forget to water. All right, so the garden is done. It is, you know, lots of plants and then spread with straw, and then it's pink oyster mushrooms. And watering is done, and now the most important part of all is the waiting, the patience factor. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys posted on my Instagram, and I'll do a follow-up video at another point. I'm gonna head to the back of the yard next, in between these tree line, and work on the next little part. So here we are at the back of the yard. I've got some old Leland cypress, and I think these are mountain laurel. And in between here, it's I think quite a perfect spot for planting mushrooms, right? So my husband made me a little wood pile here that we're gonna inoculate with shiitake mushrooms. And then here in this area, this is where I'm gonna put some wood chips down, although probably the material that's already here, like leaves and stuff, would work just fine. And we're gonna put moi pink and gold oyster mushrooms. So I changed my mind. I'm gonna try an experiment. So back in this little area that I just showed you between these tree lines, there's lots of, I think, what would be like leaves and great spots for mushrooms to grow, leaves and little fallen branches, and it's very shady back here. So you know what I'm gonna try? I'm still gonna do the wood chips, but I have to go get them from a friend, maybe tomorrow or something. So we're gonna try to just spread some spawn here in this whole area, and we're gonna see what it does better on. So I'm still gonna do the wood chips, and then later, maybe tonight, I can recruit my husband to help me with this project, the wood stack. That's where we're gonna grow the shiitake, but we have to drill holes in those logs and plug them with spawn and then seal them with wax. So that's a whole other project. But yeah, we're just gonna spread some spawn in this area, just on these little branches and the leaves and stuff like that, and see what happens. What do you think? Okay, so it is the day to drill the holes. We've got our wood stack. We've got some wood chips that we're gonna put in here as well. And we got lots of leaves and a good shady spot, I think, between these trees and these bushes. Hopefully that'll be a good spot for mushrooms to grow. So we're gonna drill holes in this wood stack and then put the wood chips down, and then we'll put the inoculate the woods and then put the spawn down on top of the wood chips. So yeah, that's up next. Okay, it's kind of a lot of work, but it's fun and hopefully will be rewarding. So next up, okay, all the drill holes are in the logs. I'm going to sprinkle around some golden, what are these called? Golden oyster mushrooms onto my leaves and wood chips. And then also on the other side, we're gonna try some pink oyster. So I'm trying these in the garden, the other garden true on top of the straw, but we'll see how they do in the shade spot back here on top of the leaves and the wood pulp. And then after that, we've got the little shiitake spore spawn that we're gonna put in the logs.
This isn't very good. Start a new one.
protein. What do you think, buddy? What do you think? Oh my gosh, always the neighbors with the mowing. It seems like we're in the middle of nowhere here, like in the middle of the forest, but we're actually in a very small neighborhood. So that's the beauty of hopefully gardening with mushrooms, or adding the mushrooms into our gardens, is that we're going to be making use of space that otherwise wouldn't be used. So the last little step here is to seal all the little holes shut that we put in the logs with wax. And all I did is I took an old cookie can, a Pepperidge Farm cookie can, and the melted wax, I put it on the grill and melted the wax. And I have this this hot fire glove that I'm using to hold the can. So next we take this little dabber, and it's kind of hard to do with holding the camera. This is all hard to do holding a camera. So anyway, you dab a little bit of wax on top of each of the holes and seal them shut, hopefully sealing them shut of any contaminants is the idea. So that's what I'm going to be doing next. That's the very last step. And then the biggest part of all will be just the waiting, the patience. It's kind of a lot of work. It took us, I would say, 6-7 hours to do all this. Thankfully, my husband helped quite a bit. And then it's the waiting, and hopefully that all of this will turn into a magical mushroom garden before you know it. Stay tuned at Flexible Warrior. I'll try to do a follow-up video on my YouTube channel, Flexible Warrior Yoga, and my Instagram is just Flexible Warrior. Peace.